the people who lean into this, the people who embrace it, lean into it, make it a part of their workflow, learn how to use this tool, they're going to get ahead. Period. The dinosaurs who are fighting the inevitable, they're going to lose. Period.
All right, today, Travis, we're chatting about something super interesting, very cool, fun. Something that we've talked a lot about in our personal and business conversations as well. Everyone's talking about it. It's super impactful right now. We're talking about OpenAI. We're talking about ChatGPT. So there's so many directions we can go on this. But just to pick a lane to get rolling, what are some cool features of this that you've seen, that you've used, that you're hyped up about?
So, man, I've been playing with this a lot. And I've shown it to a lot of people, family members, friends. I was recently on vacation, and we were in the Caribbean, and we were all sitting around a computer, and I got to show this to my brother-in-law. He's an attorney. He was able to get ChatGPT to start writing legal documents pretty successfully. He had to draft up divorce papers and put citations in it. He had to do a lease and make it an exception for exotic animals. He was able to get it to do some pretty awesome stuff. But yeah, we had to do, we had a friend with us who was she's working on her PhD. She was able to get it to write a paper just to play around to see how good it would be. This was in psychology, nailed it. We also made it write a song for us, write some song lyrics. We then had it translate the song lyrics into Spanish. We then had it make the song lyrics rhyme in Spanish. Did a really good job. It was pretty cool. We were all really impressed. One of the fun things that I really liked about it is just for fun. You can say, like, let's say you're trying to be creative. You can't. You go home. You're trying to make a meal for your family. You don't know what to cook. You open your fridge. You see 5 different things in your fridge. You can put that into ChatGPT. Say, here's the 5 things in my refrigerator. Give me a recipe. It will come up with a recipe for what to make. And while maybe
I got a boiled egg, a tomato, a stick of celery, and some rice,
some mustard, and some rice. It's like, here's what you do. The solutions it comes up with, really. DoorDash is on your phone. It's pretty good. It actually is pretty clever the way it comes up with the recipes. So I was really impressed with that. I want to talk about for a minute a couple things I did that were practical. Have you ever had a hard time? You probably have, writing something in like a thank you card or like a sympathy card. Have you ever had a hard time with that?
Yeah, because I'm a human being. So
I never know what to say. Right.
Yeah.
I've actually used ChatGPT. I was like, here's the situation. Here's who I'm writing to. Give me a few words. And it's come up with some really wonderful poetry for me.
Some really heartfelt responses. That
I was impressed with myself when I put this stuff down. But I was able to take that and then, of course, make it my own. But it gave me something to work with. I've used it to help craft bios. We had an employee who needed to write a bio, and we wanted to, he gave us some information, with regards to, his accomplishments, etc. But we put that into ChatGPT, and it crafted up a really useful bio, and then we were able to edit that and make it our own. It's really, I don't know what its limits are. I know that it's not always accurate, but it's pretty accurate. I know that it's also now people are playing around with it quite a bit, and they're trying to find not only the edges of its accuracy but also its biases. It does look like it has some biases, right? So if you're watching this and you're a very charged person when it comes to politics, you might have problems with some of it, but that's still fun to see what its limits are, what its limitations are, and what it can do and can't do. That's what I've done with it. What have you done with it?
Yeah. So as a marketer, one of the, and we're going to go down this whole rabbit hole because there's a lot of them. Because we're talking about all this really cool stuff that it does, but it brings up a lot of questions. And as people hear it, as with a lot of new technology, there's also the like, this is this going to like take over the world, and is
Right.
everything going to explode because of it? So and there's that whole side of it as well. But I have, when it comes to getting nice, good articles, good content, writing blogs, plugging in keywords, and then getting ad suggestions. Um, I mean, this is like digital marketers' dream, because
Mm-hmm.
anyone who's in the digital marketing field and who has had to write hundreds, thousands of headlines, descriptions, long headlines, short headlines, phrases, whatever, based off of keywords that you're trying to, especially when you're doing A/B testing, you're trying to see what is driving people's searches. This is like, this is it. Um, on top of
Huge time
that,
saver.
huge time saver. Not only that, like, we're limited, and we got to be humble enough to recognize that. Like, we don't, even though you might be really great at your job, and you have really great ideas, that doesn't mean you have all of them all the time. You know, you got to recognize that that there are things like this that can spit out things that are better than what you would have thought of. Now, you can always enhance it and tailor it and whatever you need to do, which I would highly suggest doing that. And that's another rabbit hole that we can get into. But in addition to that, so my sister, she's a designer. She's super creative. She does websites. She does media, that type of thing. So for websites, for her, she's not a coder. She's a designer. So she does, she can build a website. She can make it look beautiful. But when it comes to, certain functionalities, that's beyond her. But I introduced her to ChatGPT actually just this past weekend, or a few days back, and once she got into it, because she has this kind of a mind, she just found out all these different things to ask it. And when it comes to coding, you can have it code a website for you. Now, it's not as simple as just like code my website. Like, you obviously have to. There's an art behind knowing what information to feed it. But you can even, like, what she ended up finding out that she needed to do with certain things is pull the code that she had currently for a website, drop that information in, and tell ChatGPT how it needed to be enhanced, where it needed to be enhanced, et cetera, et cetera. And then it spits something out, including the code that you already had there, that's basically just plug and play.
Right.
So, I mean, this thing is, the things that it can do. I mean,
It's awesome.
We're talking privacy policies for the page. For different pages. That's something that is relatively simple, because there's a lot of templates for that on the internet. But it's always like grabbing, okay, I need this, but I don't need this, and I need to change that, and I might, well, you can just tell it what you need, and it can just roll out, different sections of your particular policy that you may need. And there's a million other things that that it can do, and that we've used it for. But maybe, I don't know if this is the time.
We should talk about the marketing piece, I think. So let's talk about, philosophically, people are concerned that if you use this to write content, you're going to get dinged for it. Google's going to see, hey, this stuff was written by AI, and now it's classified as spam. I know, similar to that, students are using this at school now, right, to write their papers, and there's detection tools like GPT-0 that are coming out to detect if it's AI generated, right? I think OpenAI themselves just decided to release a tool to let you know if it's written by AI, which is funny because it's only 26%. Like, it catches it 26% of the time. I guess that'll get better, but their own tool only catches itself 26%
Probably
of the time right
with
now.
intent, done with intention.
Yeah, well, Listen, I think they should build that in. I think it should be built into the platform. So when you go into Chat GPT, you should get a AI score, and then you could just tell it, write what I want with a low score, and then have it just change its own stuff until it can actually give you a non-detectable AI. But people are worried, and there's a lot of people I think watching right now who are thinking these guys are out of their mind. They're making huge mistakes if they're using this to write their content. Oh, they're gonna get, Google's gonna get them. But I have to say that that's not the case if you understand what you need to do to with this tool. It's a tool. So if you're going in and you're just saying, write me my article, and you're taking what it gives you and you're putting that on your website,
Mistake.
you're done.
Yeah.
Number one, you're done. But sometimes what we need is a source for our creativity, right? We need a place to start. We have a hard time getting started. ChatGPT is a great way to get you started. Now, there's other tools, and I won't name all these tools. I'm going to keep some of this to myself for right now, but there are other tools you can use to change the output you get from ChatGPT. There are also tools, like we just mentioned, that tell you your score, that let you know if your final product is detectable. But what I want to say is, if you know how to put information in correctly, which is a huge part of this, how to ask the right things in the first place, you're going to get wonderful information out. If you get that information out and then you use that to inspire a better product, and then you add yourself to it, and then you use the proper tools to check the quality of your output, this thing is absolutely going to change your workflow, save you time, and create better content, in my opinion, than you would have been able to create on your own without it. And you're not going to get dinged by Google. You're not going to get busted because you're not doing the thing, in my opinion, that Google doesn't want you to do. You're not creating spam.
Yeah.
If you're using this thing to make, what's your thought on that?
I completely agree. We don't, and this is another side of it that we'll get into here in a second. But this isn't about taking the skills and abilities away from people who have them, taking creativity away from people who have it. That's a necessary thing. I'm talking about my own, as a marketer, I still think that, the skill set that I possess is extremely valuable, because just like any tool, you put that tool in the wrong hands and it can cause a whole lot of chaos. But you put the tool in the right hands and it can help that person to get a lot more done than they may have done without the tool. So when we talk about it, obviously this is a podcast. We only have so much time, and we're just talking about, we're excited. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with it. We also have a process. There's processes that we use to make sure that we're using the tools correctly, and it's new. So there's things that we're discovering and things that we're learning. But yeah, absolutely. It's not something that you just, boom, you plug this in, you take what it has, you throw it up there, and then you go and have a Mai Tai and you don't have to work for the rest of the day.
You now live. Yeah, exactly. You live on the beach in Mexico, and your job is half an hour a week, making ChatGPT write blogs. That's not it.
Yeah. But that's where this other question does come into play, because when you have jobs that are solely based around, like, for example, content, you're a copywriter, okay, or you write legal documents. Or even there was that whole court case in California, I believe it was, that I can't remember the name of the company, but they were going to have AI that was powered by ChatGPT, fed through what was it, Google Lens, was going to argue in court for someone, and obviously lawyers didn't like that, and that was
the most litigious people on earth were litigious. Yeah, they threatened to sue.
Imagine that.
Yeah. What do you know?
So that brings up that whole question of, like, you know, what is this going to do to people's jobs? Are masses of people going to lose their jobs because of this? Is this something you should be like
Yeah.
scared of or concerned
So
about if that's what you do? What do you think, Travis?
okay, so I'm just taking the gloves off here. To all those attorneys out there who did this, you're cowards. Cowards. And you're stopping the inevitable. You will not be able to stop this. So just be the cool lawyer. Lean into it, okay? Get ahead of get ahead of the dinosaurs that you're working with. Trust me. Okay, this is not going to take your job. All right. We still need humans to look this stuff over, right? We still need somebody has to create the input. You have to put the information in. So the more skilled you are as an attorney, the better you are at crafting that input. You need to craft a high quality input to get a high quality output. So don't worry about it, right? What we're talking about now is making you a better attorney, a faster attorney. This is very, very helpful. The the people who lean into this, the people who embrace it, lean into it, make it a part of their workflow, learn how to use this tool, they're going to get ahead. Period. The dinosaurs who are fighting the inevitable, they're going to lose. Period. And they're just all they're doing is wasting their time just to lose. It's over with. Get with the program. This is here to stay. There was a guy a long time ago, and he wrote a book about how the internet was a fad. You know, don't be that guy. Don't write the book about how the internet's going away. Don't be the person who's like, you know, ChatGPT and OpenAI is going to kill all of us. It's not going to kill all of us, probably. Might kill some of us. I don't know, but
Most
probably won't kill all of us, right? You know, like get with it. Use it. It's super. It's awesome. And to the teachers out there who are worried that your students are going to use this to cheat, they are. Yeah, they're 100% going to do that because they don't want to. They don't appreciate or see the value in learning how to do things the hard way because they don't have a fully developed prefrontal cortex and they're kids and they want to go have fun. So
does that only apply to kids?
We get better at it when we're older, but not much, right?
Do we? I don't know.
Well, we hope we do. The thing that I have to say, I saw a teacher the other day that said, "Hey, you can use it. I just want you to, when you use it, I want you to cite where it was used, and I want you, you know, like I want you to make it a part of your toolbox." And really smart, in my opinion, for, you know, with that teacher. Now, again, it's going to take time to really figure out the right way for a student to use this stuff. But kids are smart; they're going to find a way around it. These, you know, workflows that I'm already aware of that can defeat the AI detection, the kids figured it out before I did. You know, the necessity is the mother of invention, so it's going to happen. You know, if a kid has to get a report turned in tomorrow and didn't work on it all week, they're going to use this tool to make that happen, whether they should or shouldn't, whether it's the right thing to do or not. The truth is that they're going to take their chances. So as a teacher, as a lawyer, as a doctor, I would say find ways to invest your time, your expertise, and your skills into making this actually a benefit for society. And don't fear it so much. That's my thought.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's understandable to me to have some fear, to be concerned. Like that makes sense. But that fear isn't going to change the progress of it. So a lot, you know, taking that fear and then thinking that advocating against it is going to stop it is, you know, that could be you know, a bit. There could be better uses for your time. But to me, one of the great things that it does, and there are some negative things. I'm not going to, you know, sit here and
Sure.
say that it's all positive. Yeah. But to me, one of the great things it does is that it makes like, hey, let's get some better lawyers. Are there lawyers that take advantage of people and they just use the same information over and over and they make, you know, millions of dollars off of being a bad lawyer? Absolutely. Are there copywriters who, you know, it should only take them 20 or 30 minutes to write an article and they take, you know, 2 days to do it. and the article's not that good, and the review process is extended, and it slows down the workflow. Absolutely. Now,
Yep.
are things like this going to get them on their feet and say, "Hey, you can't continue to do business that way"? I think so, and I think that's one of the positives about it is that there's going to be enhancements to the way that people do business in some ways because of that. There's going to be enhancements to the quality of work that you can get out of people because of that. And going to, jumping into the teacher thing as well, like obviously what an incredibly difficult job. And I would never pretend to act as if that's crazy. Teaching kids these days,
Yeah.
that's
No,
incredible.
thanks.
But one of the things that now when it comes to, education, maybe the teachers are in some cases are as lazy as the students, right? Hey, we give them an assignment, they turn it in, whatever the process is, they maybe don't want to do some of the work. Maybe some of the students don't want to do the work. And on both sides of things, if the students are finding loopholes, well, then maybe the teachers can find ways to enhance their ability to teach as well. Hey, okay, you do something on ChatGPT. I need an oral report now. So not only are you going to write me a report, you're going to sit up and you're going to deliver it in front of the class, and then I'm going to grade you on it there. Yep. I'm not going to take it home and do it while I'm having a glass of wine. That might be easier, but there's always different ways to adapt, and maybe that actually enhances what the information that the student retains, because they have to remember what they printed out, not just print it out and hand it in. So there's different things that there's always different ways around things. There's positives and negatives to each side.
I completely
but
agree.
There are a lot of really cool things about this.
I completely agree with what you just said, because it's when it comes to schooling, for instance, right, there's essentially two types of ways to get a grade, right? You can do the work and you can get a good grade but not learn anything, or you can learn something and then hopefully if you do the work you'll get a good grade. But what would you rather be, the person who's turned in the work on time and got the grade, or the person who learned it? They're both important. It's good to have both, but actually learning the information is what's going to benefit you in the long run. Getting the grade is going to benefit you in very specific ways too, right? If you're looking to get into certain schools and things like that. But you can get the grade and not get the information. So this is an opportunity for schools to get better. This is an opportunity for teachers to get better. It's an opportunity for students to get better. Looking at it the right way, you can look at this as an opportunity and a way to refine things, perfect them, make them more effective. Or you can just get freaked out about it and then just try to lock it down, which you're not gonna do it. The kids are smarter than you. They're just not. It's not even that. They're motivated. You have to understand, they're incentivized to make this work for them, right? So they've got everything in their court. They've got the will,
including numbers.
They've got the time, the energy. Trust me, teachers. Just work. Have the students help you figure out how to make this work for them. But completely agree with that, and that's the way I try to look at things, anyways. Personally, in life, I try not to be a dinosaur about this stuff and get stuck in my ways. I've seen enough people who, as they, got older, the world changed underneath them, and then the world became very difficult to navigate. So for me personally, it's always been important to try to keep up with it, so I never find myself in a world I don't understand. Right.
I like the idea of becoming an old curmudgeon.
Eventually.
Just,
eventually, in the woods, just shouting at people.
Shaking a stick at people. Yeah. And, I'm halfway there already. So, but no, that makes perfect sense. And this is a topic that I feel like we're just kind of just barely touching the surface. Barely. There's a whole lot more we can talk about.
Think about this real quick, and I know we're going a little long on this, but you probably have an Alexa in your house, or you at least have Siri on your phone, or you have Google Assistant. I think that's what it's called. I'm not a Google guy, but I think that's what it's called. Those are terrible compared to this. They're just awful, right? They're miserable. I can tell you right now, my Alexa has only gotten worse over time. Like she's just gotten less. There's less she can do today than when I bought her. She doesn't understand me at all.
She's tired. She's tired of you just yelling commands at her with no concern.
I'm wondering if it's just so many people have put they've contributed to what she is, that where I'm just now seeing the totality of how terrible we are as humans. And then the technology doesn't work. I don't know, but she's not getting better. But if you think about a future where you have robotics, right, assisting you, think about people who are disabled. They can't walk, or they can't speak, or they can't. There's different challenges. Or the blind is a great example. Having robotics augment their life to make their life better is a beautiful thing. It's hugely important. And we're headed down that path. We've seen it with Boston Dynamics, and there's a couple other folks that are making these autonomous robots. And then you think about something like OpenAI, and ChatGPT being an example of what you can do with OpenAI, powering those devices. We are talking about the future that we've all seen in movies and read about in comic books. It's becoming a reality. It's going to happen within the next decade. You really will be able to have assistants in your home that you can talk to like they're a person, that can actually give you a fairly human-like experience in interaction. That could actually be useful. And I think that used correctly, which it probably won't be at first. People are too greedy, but and they're people. But used correctly, it could really benefit. There's a lot of people who need help that this could benefit, and I look forward to that. I think it's super exciting. I love it.
Yeah, I'm still of the sort that we should go back to stone wood ovens and teaching a kid how to swing an axe.
Well, see, my hope is that with the right robots and the right, you'll have time to go teach your kid how to swing an axe and load up your, wood burning stove.
Because that's worked really well. Technology has given us so much more time.
I know. That's true. Good point. Somebody's found a way to always rob those efficiencies away. Huh? Oh, you can do it faster? Now we pay you less. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll pay you less, or we expect more, right, or both. But if there's a way to summarize this, I don't even know how we can summarize it.
OpenAI is rad,
but we got to do our 30 seconds or less.
All right.
Yeah, 30 seconds or less. Here you go, Travis. In 30 seconds or less, tell us what you think about OpenAI and specifically ChatGPT.
Lean in. Go play with it. Chat.openai.com. You have to make an account. Go use it. Go have fun. Have it do things for you. Come up with creative ideas. Number 2, lean into it. Stop being so scared. Attorneys, I'm talking to you guys. Doctors, okay? Go lean into it. Go have fun. This is the future. Figure it out. Be smarter than your competition, and use this to get one up on them.
I like it. Nice. That was a fun one.